Hey, hey. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Bush Babies. Hey, I can't see who that is, but hey. Hey, BB. We're going to get started in a minute. I have a lot to cover. Ugh, quite a bit. So, whew, okay. Let's go ahead and hopefully get started here. Give me 1 second. Now, that song is an original song um, that I created for this channel. Um, it's like the channel theme song, and I thought it was most appropriate for sure in discussing this particular case. The United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. As most of you already know, why is it breaking up like that? I don't understand. What's up with my phone? You know what? Hold on, guys. Let me mute. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm switching phones. Okay, I think I'm back. I think I'm here. Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me, please. No, not just you. It's everybody. Huh? Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. Yeah. It's my other phone. Something is not right with this other phone when I use Restream. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. So, I had to switch. Hey Summer. Not just you, it's very choppy. Okay. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I fixed it. Something's up with my other device. Oh no. But let's get into this and get down to the nitty gritty because we have quite a bit to cover. I'm a little confused because some people are saying, oh, wait, hold on. There, hold on. I'm turning down the wrong dang on phone. Okay, so I have a whole lot to cover simply because I have not covered day one or day two. So I'm going to do like a quick overview, give my thoughts on what's going on, how the trial is happening thus far in the United States versus Sean P. Diddy Combs. It has been very eventful so far. When I say eventful, it has been eventful. Now, hold on. 14 the replies. There we go. Why is it trying to make me log in? I'm not logging in. Why do I have to log in? I don't want to log in. I'm not logging in. Like, you can wrap that up. Yesterday, open, on May 12th, 2024, the federal trial of the music mogul Sean Diddy Combs commenced in Manhattan. And this marks, a the beginning of a very high profile case. And it involves some really serious allegations. They had a well, I can't really call him a ex worker because he says that he's not an ex worker. He says that he provides an experience, which is rather interesting to me because his experience involves, intimacy, to say it, put it mildly. Okay, his particular profession involves intimacy, but he does not like to be associated. In my opinion, he does not want to, or he would prefer not to be associated with a actual like ex worker, which is fine. I understand that. Some people, you know, would prefer to steer away from being referred to as that, just because of the, I guess, negative connotation that comes along with it. Okay, so it was interesting because he provided testimony yesterday about a freak off. He was hired and brought in by Sean P. Diddy Combs to be intimate with his then girlfriend, Cassie, aka Cassandra Ventura. And he provided testimony that kind of gave us some insight as to how, Diddy kind of, let's say, responded during the freak off, or as they would say it, King's Night or a hotel party. He indicated that at one point, you know, Diddy had put hands on her. He put hands on Cassie to get her to perform in the way that he wanted her to. Um, I think that lends to the prosecution's allegation that Diddy is pretty much, or was, I should say, the orchestrator of the the interactions and in charge, basically. Um, let's see, hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Yesterday they also had, I'm trying to do two things at once, y'all. Yesterday they also had testimony come in from the security, a security individual that was working at the hotel, the LA hotel in which that, you know, video that was aired by CNN, uh, in which Diddy can be seen physically assaulting Cassie in the hotel lobby. And he discussed the situation, but what really struck me as odd is that his testimony centered more towards the damages that were done in the hotel room and the broken vase, instead of kind of like giving a descriptive idea or picture as to the interaction that was caught on camera and shared by CNN. But I mean, maybe at the time that's what his focus was. I don't know. And to be honest, when they give testimony, they have to be truthful about their entire interaction. And based on what I heard or reviewed online, rather, a lot of what he provided as far as testimony, he was more so focused on the damage versus what actually occurred between Diddy and Cassie in the hallway. But yesterday was quite interesting. How and but today was just un unreal. Today's testimony was unbelievable and unreal because they called in Cassie, aka Cassandra Ventura. She is, as many of you know, Diddy's ex-girlfriend of, I believe, 10 or 11 years. I want to say it's 11 years. And she provided very emotional testimony detailing their relationship that was marked by physical abuse, coercion, and forced participation in X activities with male escorts. She described instances of being beaten, dragged, and humiliated. And she also recounted, using a variety of drugs in an effort to endure the abuse. I also want to point out that the prosecution did a really great job of, um, like honing in on the fact that there is a 17-year difference between Diddy and Cassie. When they met, I want to say he was in his 30s and she was 19, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, there was a 17-year difference. And she explained that initially it was about music. It was about him having an interest in working with her musically, helping her with her career. And I think she said that at her 22nd birthday party was when he kissed her romantically in his hotel suite, and basically that kicked off their relationship. um she explained and testified to the fact that she was used to recruit male escorts, with Combs dictating their appearance and the logistics of encounters. um Videos of those sessions do exist, and they were submitted in to evidence. Okay. Um Now the gentleman, there was also a gentleman, Daniel Phillip. He's a male stripper. He testified. Oh yeah, this is the guy that's the experience. He testified about witnessing Combs assault Cassie, and detailed the actual exploitive encounters that they had at together. He confirmed that he was paid by Diddy to engage with Cassie, and that he observed Diddy's violent behavior. Um, it's kind of, first of all, I'm live. I'm on. Okay. Okay. I want to make sure that that didn't mess up my connection. Hold on. Can you guys hear me? I think you guys can hear me now. Why is it choppy now? I want to make sure I'm not choppy, guys. So I'm like pausing to listen to myself in my earbuds. He also explained about the rugs in day one. Yes, yes, Empress. Oh my goodness. Oh, I okay. So this is the thing. I do not want to. Okay, I sound okay. See, I don't want to. How do I put this? Okay, everyone has their level of kink. Okay, um, some people's kinks are different than others. Um, some people have certain fetishes. There's BDSM. There's servanthood. There's a multitude of different sexual kinks, and I don't want to kink shame anyone, but learning about this, the way that Diddy wanted Cassie to perform, and his expectations, and um like, there was one point on the stand where she indicated that he wanted the baby oil applied every 5 minutes. um they also had like an inflatable pool so that they could hop in there and like get greased up or whatever. He wanted them to be glistening at all times. It was just, I don't know. I mean, you like what you like, um, but I really don't understand. I'm like, I'm dead serious, y'all. I'm like, I don't really understand. Um, I'm having like, this is the thing. I want to understand, but I'm having a very difficult time in understanding what he what satisfies Sean P. Diddy Combs sexually. Um, because at one point also, the prosecution asked Cassie to explain what Diddy would want her to do with the after the male ejaculated. What did he want, or what did he request that she do? And she explained that he wanted her to rub it all over him, all over his chest. And mind you, his family is in the courtroom. His mother, his sons, his children, uh, all of them. Like, I mean, if I were if I were Diddy, I would have told him. I would have told my family not to come in, especially for her testimony. Because the reality is, he knows the nature of their relationship. He knows the certain activities that they partook in, whether it was consensual or not. Um, for your family to actually sit in an open court and hear this testimony, I don't know. I would have been a little, especially my mother and my daughters and my sons. I would not have been, I don't know. I don't know, but they did present the 2016 hotel surveillance video as a key piece of evidence. Um, they showed it yesterday, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they also showed it again today. Um, albeit the assault cannot be prosecuted due to the statutes of limitations. This piece of evidence has become central in the prosecution's case. Okay. The baby oil discovery, authorities reportedly found 1,000 plus bottles of baby oil during the raids on his homes. Um, his excessive need for people to be greased up and lubricated is probably the reason for all of that baby oil. Like, he had to have baby oil on deck. It's just, does anybody like, is anybody else kind of like just absolutely wowed by some of this testimony? He could have gotten a willing partner for sure, Summer. Um, right, you like what you like, yeah. But folks you're engaging with should like it too. Yep, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Empress, it does kind of seem that way. And he doesn't like, you know what, Empress? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Empress says it doesn't seem that he likes women. Empress, when I heard the testimony of what he wanted her to do with the escorts or the dancer or whatever, or the experiencer, whatever the guy wants to be called, because I want to be respectful of Daniel as well. Um, what he wanted her to do with the experiences, ejaculation fluids, rubbing it all over his chest. What man? I mean, I know they're probably. I First of all, let me be clear. I don't think that Diddy is out on an island on his own. There are probably other men who are turned on by that. You know what I'm saying? Who are turned on by that. But it's like, why are you turned on by that? Is it because, are you using her as a surrogate to get what you want to get for yourself, but you're ashamed to actually go out and get the man and be intimate with the man directly? But in the case of Sean P. Diddy Combs, we can't really say that, because in the multiple civil suits that have been filed, men have come forward as well. So I want to say that I don't think he does not like women, Empress. I think he's bi, and I think that his preference in partners swings further to the male perspective. Like, I believe that he enjoys men more than he does women. But I wouldn't say that he does not like men completely. I believe that he's bisexual, which also is fine. Let me see. I know, midwife. Then I just want to say also that Cassie has done a phenomenal job, in my opinion. She Today was her first day on the stand, I believe, and she held it together, held her composure, and not only that, she's pregnant. Like, she is due any day. So for her to actually recount and actually discuss all of these events that occurred during that 11-year relationship, I applaud her for being able to do that. She described instances in which she was degraded by being urinated on. Um, at Diddy's instruction, she was urinated on. Um, it's just, I don't, I get being into weird stuff. I get having your kinks, but like I think Crystal said, it's okay to have your kinks. It's okay to be into what you're into, but the people that you're with and are involved with, there shouldn't be any physical abuse, any type of uh, verbal abuse, or any type of coercion to have them participate. They should be willing participants. And apparently, the way that Cassie actually explained it, she wasn't a willing participant. It wasn't something that she was willing to do. She did describe initially wanting to do it because she was in love with him and she wanted to make him happy. And I want you guys to remember that there's a huge age difference of 17 years between the two. Not that it excuses her acceptance of what he wanted, but it explains it. I always say, whenever you see an older man or an older woman with a younger partner, I usually pause and have a little bit of concern when I see that dynamic because there's an immediate power imbalance. And it doesn't have to be financial, it could just be that the person in the relationship that's older has more knowledge, has more wisdom. They've lived more life. They have more life experience. They kind of been around the block a couple of times. Whereas their counterpart who's younger, they not that up on things. So manipulation and control can easily be instituted in relationship situations like that when there's a huge age gap. And it doesn't even really have to be huge. I think anywhere between if you're like dealing with somebody that's 5+ years older, there could be some type of manipulation, control, and coercion going on. And it's not that each time it's in a vindictive or criminal or um a bad way. It could be that they're trying to manipulate you to make good decisions. So don't get me wrong, it's not always like dark and malicious. Sometimes it's positive, but I always try to, whenever I see that dynamic, I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And what's the attraction? And is there a power dynamic or is there an imbalance in power going on here? Whenever I see that. Um, some other things that came out in testimony. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Congregate in the comments for me 1 second, guys. All right, so she said, let's go in here. Hold on. All right, so And this is the funnier part too. It says that as Judge Subramani swore her in and addressed and the jury for the first time, Ventura appeared to have no interest in returning his gaze. The producer has pleaded not guilty of the charges. Now, they have said that Diddy has been like staring at the jury and other individuals in the courtroom. Like one reporter one reporter likened it to him looking through her, like just giving her this stare. And to be honest, when you look at him in pictures and stuff, he looks like that's just his facial expression. A lot of people, when they see my face, they're like, "Are you upset? Are you sad? What's going on?" But I just usually have like a blank look on my face. So I can't really say that he's, you know, menacing and gazing and grimacing at people. I just think that's pretty much his face. But his legal team should actually advise him to kind of fix that, because the jury is not only listening to testimony, they're paying attention to the defendant's posture, his appearance, and facial expressions. So his defense team might want to work with him on that. But during her testimony, Cassie recounted her time with Diddy, beginning with what she considered an inappropriate kiss from him when he was her boss at the start of her career. So when he kissed her initially at her, I think it was her 22nd birthday party, it took that probably threw her for a loop and took her like off guard, like, wait a minute, he's my boss and he's kissing me. You know what I mean? So it must have kind of made her feel uneasy, but I'm certain that he, with the power and influence and money and charm, and also the age difference, the imbalance in power, he knew how to maneuver around that. He knew how to make her comfortable in that. And she eventually became comfortable in it, just like any other young woman would. Um, she explained that her first experience in a freak off actually occurred when she was 22. She said that she was confused and nervous, but didn't feel she had much choice but to participate. The freak off, which allegedly featured drugs and alcohol at a Las Vegas home Combs was renting, involved a male escort whose photo was shown to the jury. As Ventura spoke, she said that she understood that the man was a dancer. That's what she was told. She didn't know that he was an escort. He was paid to entertain, to dance, and have intercourse with her. After that, she testified that Combs involved her in freak offs weekly for a period of years until 2017 or 2018. She said it would be impossible to remember every freak off in which she participated because of the frequency of the events and the drugs she took to disassociate. which included GHB, ketamine, mushrooms, and ecstasy. She was also given drugs like cocaine to stay awake. She said since Combs wouldn't allow her to sleep. And then she says it just felt like it was all I was good for to him. I mean, I feel for her being young, being naive, and falling. Clearly, she fell in love with Diddy. Clearly, because she stayed for that long of a time. She stayed in the relationship for 11 years. So it's kind of like, if all this were going on, why did you stay? Now, the defense's strategy, they're going to try to paint this picture and argue that all of the sexual encounters were between consenting adults and that the accusers were motivated by financial gain. Now, um, let me finish this also. They acknowledge intercourse, I'm sorry, instances of domestic violence, but contended that these did not constitute ex trafficking. Now, why are they going to try to put this on financial gain? They're going to try to put it on financial gain because of Cassie's settlement. It's a it's a good defense strategy, but I don't know that they will be able to sway the jury enough based on all of the information that Cassie shared today on the stand. And I don't believe that they're done with direct examination. The prosecution, I believe, will resume in the morning with Cassie on the stand. They did explain that they believe that Cassie's testimony, because they said that they'll have two witnesses and then the third that will probably take up the rest of the week. And Cassie is the third witness. So they are going to have Cassie probably on the stand for the rest of the week. Between direct and cross examination, she will probably take up the rest of the week because I think today they just scratched the surface and started with the beginnings. They haven't gotten to guys, if you've been paying attention and following on Twitter and following all of the other networks, they hadn't gotten into Kid Cudi, correct? The allegation of arson, because that's also one of the prosecution's allegations. Do you guys know if they have gotten to Kid Cudi? I don't think they've gotten to Kid Cudi. Did they get to him yet? I don't think they did. Yep, Cassie got her money already. You're right. Yeah, she's going to be on the stand all week. Yep, that's right. I don't think they got to Kid Cudi yet. They have a lot more ground to cover in order to prove all of the allegations that they are charging him with. Now, as far as the courtroom observation, um, Diddy appeared in court wearing a gray beige sweater with his mother, Janice Combs, present. Observers noted he noted his subdued demeanor, with some describing him as looking defeated. So that's what that's what they're saying. He appeared to look rather defeated. So let's see. Cassie, I'm looking at my notes, y'all. Give me a second. Don't want to miss anything that I wanted to point out or talk about. I'm checking my notes. Sleep deprivation. Yeah, we talked about her sleep deprivation and him giving her drugs to stay up. She also, during her testimony, pointed out, she spoke of Combs's stringent control over her personal and professional life, from dictating her attire to limiting her communication and suppressing her music career. So he was control of her personal life and her professional life, and he limited her. He was almost like a cult leader. he was he was suppressing her music career and keeping her communications very limited, which means that he dictated who she could be around, talk to, and hang out with. So that, I'm guessing the people who were approved people were probably people who would not say to her, like, girl, you need to leave, or honey, he's not good for you, or what have you. She also discussed that Diddy would buy her expensive things. He would buy her gifts, and if she did not do what he wanted her to do, he himself would actually come and take those gifts back, or he would send his bodyguards to retrieve all of the gifts that he purchased for her. That's another part of this element of control. That is also another element of the power dynamic and the coercion that's alleged in this case. So let's see. I think that's everything. Oh, one last thing. She also said, and I was asking this, and the prosecution actually asked her the question, like, why didn't you just leave him? Why didn't you just break things off with him and, take your career elsewhere, work with another producer, free yourself? She explained that whenever she would attempt to leave or break things off with him, he would threaten her to distribute the videos of the freak offs publicly. So he was arranging, directing, and recording all of these sessions that she was involved in. And when she said, you know what, this is enough, I want to leave, I don't want to be here anymore, he would threaten to release those videos on social media and ruin her entire life and her character. I mean, basically embarrass her. Yep. Yep. Oh, yes. Yes, Empress. Oh, my goodness. Yes, Empress. Like a pimp. Exactly like a pimp. And this is the thing, I know that the defense is trying their best to paint the relationship between Diddy and Cassie as like a toxic, tumultuous relationship. But you know what? I'm gonna reserve my comments for cross-examination, because the defense is going to have to show where Cassie was as or equally vindictive, verbally and physically abusive, possessive. Like the defense is going to have to be able to show that in order to make it make sense. Because based on Cassie's testimony, there was a power imbalance, and the majority of the power was in Diddy's hands. So the defense is going to have to, hopefully they have evidence to present to show that, because if they don't, if I were a member of the jury, I would be like, oh my goodness, so he had all the power and he was threatening her. That's why she didn't leave. And it may have been a toxic relationship, but he was the person, the toxic individual within. So hopefully they will have evidence to present to support their stance. Yep. Yep. Oh my goodness. Even if she said no, he would beat her. Exactly. Yep. Blackmail. So I'll try to stay on task. Yesterday I got caught up with the day and um did not get a chance to come on, but I'm going to try to keep up with the days. Today was day 2, tomorrow's day 3. I might actually try to follow throughout the day. I don't know how that'll go, because there are some people, vloggers, that are live tweeting the case as it happens. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do the first part of the day when they go on break, and then I'll do the second part of the day like in the evening. That's what I'll do, because that'll help me to have like more of a balance, because I have things to do in my own life. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be able to balance. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for being here to listen to my update and my perspective on the case as it stands as of day 2. I don't have any predictions. I don't have any predictions. I don't know if he will. Do you guys have any predictions? Do you think he's going to be found innocent or guilty? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Replay gang, I'm talking to you too. But I think it's too soon to tell. Um, the defense did a great job on cross examination with the other 2 witnesses. I need to see how they're going to do with Cassie, as well as the other individual that we're anticipating. I think she's going by a pseudonym, Jane. So I'm going to need to see. I'm going to need to, like, I think we need to get through the full week. And then maybe on the weekend, we can have a conversation about the week and see. Because each day, what I'd like to do, I'd like to put a point in the prosecution's column or the defense's column. As it stands right now, I'm giving my points to the prosecution as it stands now. Um, they've laid out, on day 1, they laid out the case and started from the top with the security professional, and then with the escort. I'm sorry, the experience, the gentleman that provides an experience. So I'm going to give them, the prosecution, 2 points, because they came on strong and they produced credible evidence to prove a few of their allegations are ready. The defense hasn't really, the defense, to me, they haven't really like done anything to uh, paint a different narrative. You know what I'm saying?
they haven't been able to not to deny any of what the prosecution has presented thus far. So I'm saying prosecution 2 points, defense team 0. But that might change. That may change. So we shall see. Oh, wow. Crystal says guilty. You think he's going to be found guilty? Empress says life in prison without parole. Probably. What about the ex in the Gatorade? She unintentionally knew about. Oh, yeah. You know what? Yes. You know what, Empress? That too. That too. There's a lot. And my points are going to the prosecution for now. They're in the lead. So we'll see at the end of this week, guys. Thank you again for joining me. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing today. Be sure to set your notifications to all so that you're notified when I go live or add new content. By the way, at some point this week, I have got to give you guys an update on Brian C. Koberger, the Idaho 4, the quadruple unaliver. There's major updates in that case, and I can't wait to discuss those with you. So, guys, stay tuned for that. Be sure to have your notifications set to all so that you're notified when I go live or add new content. I will catch y'all on the next one. Why did it stop? Why did it stop? Oh no, I think it stopped. I closed it. Oh, that's why it stopped. I closed out what I was listening to. Here we go. Let's get out of here.